Okay, CSL, Crystal Serum Light. Super easy to install. So I've got 2 towels. So what I do, take 1 towel, flip it low pile side just to kind of keep them somewhat organized. I find that it doesn't really matter, but technically you would need a first wipe and a second wipe. And so we've got the paint completely devoid of polish oils. It's corrected out. We did a 2-step polish. First we did Gtechniq correction compound with microfiber cutting pad. Actually the hood and the trunk I did with Meguiar's M101, but the rest of the car was Gtechniq. We finished it with yellow pad and Sonex Perfect Finish. So I'm going to take my CSL and then I'm going to take a pipette, which I have here, pipette. I'm going to grab a little bit. You probably shouldn't do this on the paint, but I'm going to do it on camera here. I'm going to do a line just to prime it. You don't need that much, but we'll prime it there. Set this aside. And then I'm going to do this. You can do it however you want, but I like to do typical cross hatch passes like so. Now, CSL is not layerable. 1 layer. That's all you get. That's all you need. So we're going to do 1 layer, let it cure overnight, and we're going to come back and we're going to put 2 coats of EXO version 4 on top as our sacrificial layer. And then after the first wash is when I'm going to use Bead Maker as my topper to the topper. Right? So, not that we need that much protection, but we're going to do it anyway. I find that that combo looks pretty good. My favorite part about this coating over others and why I chose this one is it's much slicker. These guys will see here in a minute. It's slicker than a lot of the other coatings that tend to be really tacky. So I can probably do this whole half of the hood before I need to worry about wiping. But this is, I've had pretty good success with it as a wipe on, wipe off. But technically, according to Jim, the head trainer, Gtechniq USA, this does need a little bit of flash time. The way that you can tell is by these beads. Yeah, this is ready to wipe off. The way that you can tell is the lines widen out. So we have a nice even coat. Set this aside, grab my initial towel, wipe it. That's it. You know, coatings get this big, I don't know, they call it a bad rap, but this reputation that we have to have some super skill set to do this. This is easier to do than wax. You just want to make sure you don't leave any left over. You got to make sure you're wiping adjacent panels in case you got any on there. So that's it. There you go. I feel this with a towel though. Feel how much different this is than most coatings. It's much slicker. It's already.
Yeah, you can feel it drag.
Immediately slick. Or a lot of, like if you do Miyabi or ISM or anything like that, it's like dragging, you know. That's what I like about it. I know that doesn't matter in the real world. It doesn't matter that, you know, it doesn't help us any, but I like to be able to run the back of my hand across it and have it be super slick right off the bat. So I put, 4 to 8 drops or so. Put it right on the BMW badge. So I still like this traditional block. Let's hope that the universe doesn't light this car on fire, that I'm using a Car Pro block with Geon, or not Geon, yeah, whatever it's called, Gtechniq coating. So I like this because it's super easy, and I'm willing to work for it if you need to, but this, the main thing I like about is how slick it is. I still think that ISM, I think Kamikaze ISM still looks slightly better than this. But I like how this feels. So, I mean, that's what wins it for me. So you can do pretty much half the hood and wipe. You want to stay organized so you don't miss spots. Especially with this, because we're only going to put a single layer on. To me, one of the main advantages of putting multiple layers of coating on is to cover the spots that you missed. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. 5 layers is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of in my life.
It's like a minute of curing time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is less than a minute.
Yeah. So it needs like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute?
I think you can wipe it on, wipe off. I mean, that's what the directions say. Again, they suggest that you let it, you know, sit there for a few minutes. But yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. All right. So we're going to turn everybody loose, do the whole car. Don't miss any spots. All right, so first step on trim, I guess the only step on trim, we got the trim pretty well clean. Some of it, like the surround around the windshield, looks like it's brand new. They must have replaced it when they replaced the windshield. So I'm going to add trim coat to the wiper blade arms. Get you every time. So I'm going to put trim coat on the wiper blade arms, around the rubber around the windshield, hit the rubber around the windows, but there really isn't much trim to work on this car. So I'm going to do this, add a little bit of product to my micro suede and apply it like so.
Oh, yeah.
I see spots where there's no coating. All on the back window. You wanna?
So what I do for trim coat is I have a towel in my hand that I'll use to follow, and gently, I want to get it off the windshield, but I gently wipe off the excess. And this gives just a really, really nice satin look. So I don't want to buff it off. I just want to level it. And this stuff is pretty good about, really easy to do without getting streaks. Just look at that. Towel won't sit there. I actually like to do it here too. This works great on rubber, plastic. So again, I'm just applying and wiping off the excess. So I'm going to go around and do a trim around here, just this little bit of rubber, and that's it. So I got trim right here, here. I don't need to do the shadow line trim because we're going to coat that. And that's it on this whole car. There really isn't much to do. Man, it looks so good. I love how this stuff looks. So the only thing I want to do is hit this here and we're done.
I don't really want to see that. With black wheels, I think the hack is.
That's it, man. This thing's easy. There's no trim on this thing. I'm prepping for glass sealant. I'm just gonna dump some IPA on a towel.
It's just to wake it up.
And just wipe it. So I really just want to get close to my trim coat area, get any excess off.
Yeah, I think I got it. because that's foam, so it's gonna form.
Okay. Windshield is prepped. This is awesome. You can do this by yourself. It takes hours. All right, glass coat. You put on. Put on in circles. I love this stuff. I love it not because it's like life-changing. I've said this 1,000 times, like water isn't gonna shoot off the surface, but it just works. And your wipers don't get jacked up and start juddering from this. So we'll see how this does on the side windows, because there's clearly something on the side windows already. Here, I just put a new windshield in on this, so on the side windows, there's probably Forte flyby or something on it. So the windshield, I'm definitely gonna put 2 coats. Fingers. All right, so we'll let that sit while we do the other ones. Same procedure. I do the side view mirrors and the whole deal. Yeah, there's something on here already. This, I don't think this is gonna work.
This felt pretty slick.
Yeah. Ah, man, my fingers.
Cramped?
Yeah, gets me every time. Should have polished the darn windows. I'm a freaking idiot. So I just spritz a little bit of window cleaner on here. And so then that logical question is, aren't you neutralizing the, whatever it's called, the woofs? And my answer is, hasn't yet, so it just makes it easier to get off.
Yeah, like straight down.
Maybe.
Oh, I love that. Nice and smooth.
Yeah, to the rock.
I think I might coat the M3 after I, remove all the water spots for the second time. People are gonna like this video. This is the least talking in a video I've ever done.
Is this still gonna be like 70 minutes?
Oh, sure. At least 70 minutes times 2 episodes.
I converted my 1M to a Porsche.
You would title that.
I haven't done one of those
All
titles
caps.
in like 2 years. And then it blew up.
No, it's got to be a question. You'll never believe what I did to my man.
You'll never believe what Matt did with his 1M. Ruin.
I moved all the way to Florida so I could show Matt how to detail a car.
Matt forced me.
And they're like, who's Matt? You redo the windshield and we're done. Maybe I should just keep this car.
Now he's thinking about going back after.
No, I don't. Turbo just doesn't do it for me. We also have diff and transmission fluid we could change too. Yeah, see, that's the magic on this stuff. Even slicker. I think we did all right, fellas. Yeah. Need some water so we don't mess any of this up. Yeah.
You got an air suspension put in this?
AccuRide, bro.
With the orange tank, of course.
Oh. Airbrush with my birth date.
And polished copper lines to match the car.
I need to get an Irish flag on this thing.
Orange glad. Orange glad.
Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, it's morning 2. I realized last night that no one ever compounded, because I told them not to, the trunk area. So we've got to hit that with compound because the coating wasn't sticking. You could see it, and then it dawned on me why. It's because there's still wax on there. all I did was perfect finish that section. So I really needed to calm down. There was a few deeper scratches there I noticed last night. So I'm like, well, this will be a good opportunity to fix it. So we're prepared for coating. So this is EXO version 4. We're gonna put it on the exact same way as CSL. This one has a dropper in it, so we can just go right on, right from the bottle, like so. And I'm gonna apply it in the same fashion that I did CSL. The big difference now is that the paint is super slick, but I'm still gonna do the same, keep myself organized, make sure I don't miss any spots. But we're gonna do 2 coats of this. Basically, by the time I get done with the first coat, we'll be about ready to do the second. I'll probably wait an hour or 2. So this is our top coat. This isn't necessary, but will certainly aid in longevity of the coating. And man, so slick. This is my favorite coating. There's no question. I was torn and lost sleepless nights. I really like Sequart's UK 3.0. I obviously like Kamikaze, Miyabi, ISM, but this is my favorite. All right, so by the time I get done with that, I'm basically ready to remove. Now this stuff smears around a little bit more than the other stuff in the original CSL coat, but it's easy to, you can see it. So I just have to follow up. Make sure you hit your adjacent panels and utilize your secondary towel a lot. So this product is similar to a lot of the other toppers. I forget what Gion version is called, but you have
Bliss.
yeah, CarPro Gliss. Kind of gets a little ridiculous though. We got the topper for the topper and the top topper, and we end up with layers and layers and layers of stuff on the car. But I think a lot of people, they talk about this layer not being as user friendly, and a lot of it is just simply because we've coated the car already, and so it smears around on the top of the surface more, but it's really not bad to do. And on this orange, it's pretty easy to see what's happening. So the directions say wipe on, wipe off. Gtechniq's training suggests letting it sit for a little bit. I find that I'm kind of right in between. I do well basically wiping it on by the time I get the panel done. I just do a little larger sections like this. Just don't overthink it. That's what's cool about this particular product line, is you don't need to overthink it. Just slap some on there and chances are it's gonna work. But you will use more towels on this. I need to keep this straight. Which one's my first, which one's my second? That's my first towel, or this will be my first towel. This product, you are laying quite a bit more on it. At least if that's what it looks and feels like. Take a second towel, buff the excess off. So this product specifically is why Jim from Gtechniq ends up with a third towel. I understand why now. So that's the application process, and then this adds even another layer of slickness to the surface. Adds a little bit of depth as well. So certainly I think worth the effort to put it on. So that's our process for doing Gtechniq EXO V4. I'm gonna do that and repeat that across the entire car. All right, second layer. So we got EXO on the car, put the grills back in. Thing looks good. I'm so glad I pulled the PPF off. It just looks so much better. Depth, clarity, orange peel. You know, people get all bent out of shape. There's orange peel on BMWs. That's the way it goes. There's orange peel on every car. But I want to see that orange peel, not orange peel on top of orange peel. Let's check it out. The car looks completely different. Even though it looked good before, you know, like my M3 was much more of a transformation. This already looked pretty good, but just the orange looks darker. So we've got our first layer of EXO V4 on, and we'll put another layer. I'll wait probably 2 or 3 hours. We're gonna do the downpipes now. Putting the wheels back on. I decided to put the spacers back on the front or back on the rear, and we'll see. We may put spacers on the front after we may mess with the alignment a little bit. The problem is there's so much camber that it rubs the inner fender liner at like 3/4 lock. But yeah, this looks awesome. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.